That's a good one.
I mean, he used to host the Man Show. I mean, he's done some pretty outrageous back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, for he's and haws.
No, that's a good joke on top of a good joke.
Yeah, it's a good joke. Funny thing to say. He's had a real problem with Elon from the beginning of this thing, but it's like he's in this leftist thought bubble. He is in the most leftist thought bubble available, which is Hollywood. And, you know, and I think also, you know, he famously, there's some videos of him in blackface, and those came out, and he had apologized for them, and I think he took that hit and, like, really doubled down the other direction.
What happens when a media giant, a name known for dominating late-night television for years, suddenly stops delivering the punchlines and instead becomes the punchline himself? A hidden disturbance was about to shake the well-established system, sending shockwaves through a powerful comedy empire.
Hypocrisy is alive and well amongst these sanctimonious leftists. From Kimmel to De Niro to Stephanopoulos, they want you to believe they're better than you. More virtuous, more decent. But we all know the truth. They lie. They sin. They do the very things they accuse you of and the things that they say they would never do. Evil things. Like try to destroy people based on feigned outrage.
This wasn't a manufactured spat. It was a convergence of powerful, independent voices.
Voices known for their strong and often controversial opinions were rising, and a storm was forming, ready to consume a well-known name in a public breakdown that would leave both audiences and people in the industry completely shocked. For many years, Jimmy Kimmel had been a major figure in the world of late-night television. His show became a nightly habit for millions, with his monologues often shaping or at least mirroring public opinion, making him a kind of comedic king.
There's not a fucking chance in hell that this is funny or gonna work. And when you see those flat, corny, late-night monologue jokes with no audience, Colbert, there's Jimmy Kimmel, there's Fallon. What they're doing is just like reading off of a teleprompter. So a bunch of really good joke writers wrote them some stuff, and then they're playing to the audience, and the audience is like laughing, so they get this feedback, and they know how to do that. They stand there, and there's applause signs, and then there's producers. There's the warm-up guy that's literally telling people to clap. They're like, okay, explaining to the people, okay, when Jimmy comes out, I want a big round of applause. Let's practice this right now. Ladies and gentlemen.
Kimmel's studio had become a familiar setting filled with celebrity guests, well-known comedy segments, and a steady stream of political commentary, often delivered with his trademark knowing smirk. This was the face of a specific type of network-approved humor, smooth, polished, and predictable. Behind the flawless production with its team of writers, teleprompters, and carefully timed audience claps was a setup that some had started to see as too routine, but very few could have imagined just how violently the ground beneath this comedic empire was about to shake.
Now, I will tell you, he's not the worst. The Daily Show has the worst ratings. They only have 366,000 people watching that show. During the Jon Stewart years, it was over 2 million. Now it's down to 300,000. Seth Meyers, absolutely dreadful.
Then came Joe Rogan, the podcasting giant whose influence reaches far beyond the control of traditional media. Rogan, a man not known for being subtle, stepped into the scene with his usual straightforward style. He didn't just criticize Kimmel's content, he delivered a full-on verbal breakdown of the entire late-night format. He described these shows, including Kimmel's, as overly produced acts where the hosts seem more like messengers for scripts written by others, performing in front of audiences who are often clearly instructed on when and how to react.
He doesn't even have 1,778,000. I mean, for network television, this is, you don't have to pay for it. It's there when you turn on your TV, you plug it in. That's a dreadful number. Greg Gutfeld on cable, which you do have to pay for, it has more than double the numbers of Seth Meyers. Jimmy Kimmel, 1.5 million averaging, also equally horrible.
Rogan pointed out Kimmel's reported average of 1.5 million viewers, comparing it sharply with the growing popularity of voices on other platforms like Greg Gutfeld, quietly raising doubts about Kimmel's hold on the ratings. But perhaps the most damaging claim Rogan made was that Kimmel was simply coasting. He described him as a comedian running on empty, leaning on overused political themes and missing the bold, fresh creativity that once made comedy truly sharp. This criticism carried weight, but Rogan didn't stop at attacking Kimmel's style. or viewership. He then turned the focus toward a disturbing part of Kimmel's past that many may have forgotten, or that Kimmel likely wished they had: his documented use of blackface.
Last night was the 96th Academy Awards show, and while you might have missed it, there was one clear winner. No, not Oppenheimer. It was sanctimonious leftists for their lead role in pretending they are better than you. Winner number one, Jimmy Kimmel. For the fourth time, Kimmel hosted the Oscars before an adoring crowd of Hollywood stars who laughed and curried favor with the man who wore blackface so many times. Yes, some of the very same celebrities who wanted you to believe they were horrified after yours truly said in 2018 that people used to don dark makeup in order to imitate well-known black celebrities and it wasn't a big deal. Absolutely ate up the performance by Hollywood darling Mr. Kimmel, whose blackface costumes included his oft-repeated bit as basketball star Karl Malone.
Now,
the critique sharpened as Rogan brought numbers into the fray. He highlighted Kimmel's reported 1.5.
Rogan, never one to avoid controversy, brought these incidents forcefully back into public attention. He described Kimmel's past impersonations, including a recurring character of NBA legend Karl Malone, where he darkened his skin, and another of Oprah Winfrey, which reportedly involved a fat suit and blackface makeup. These weren't just minor mistakes from his youth, they were well-documented performances. The sharp irony of Kimmel, a regular voice on social issues and a host of major events like the Academy Awards, having such actions in his past was made even clearer by Rogan's direct challenge to his moral credibility. And just as the effects of Rogan's powerful criticism were beginning to spread, another strong media personality entered the scene. If Rogan was the sledgehammer, then Megyn Kelly, the experienced journalist and sharp critic, was the scalpel, ready for a more precise kind of takedown.
That sort of self-censorship and the idea of being a more empathetic person is a good thing, right? But as long as it's reasonable. But the thing is, the problem with that kind of stuff is it continues to go in the same direction where more and more things become forbidden and toxic, to the point where, you know, the Elon Musk joking around about my pronouns are prosecute Fauci. Jimmy Kimmel made a tweet back to him. He said, your pronouns are ass and hole.
Rogan never.
Kelly, known for her sharp interviewing style and strong legal background, approached Kimmel's public image with calm and precise analysis. She didn't need to raise her voice. Her words were carefully selected to break down and reveal what she saw as deep flaws. Her criticism moved away from the comedy itself and focused directly on Kimmel's credibility and honesty. Kelly began to draw a picture of a host who may have started pandering, with his public activism seeming selective and his once bold voice now softened by a clear effort to stay within safe, approved limits. With sharp focus, Kelly began to tear down Kimmel's supposed moral authority by pointing out what she saw as obvious double standards. She brought back the controversy involving Chris Harrison, the former Bachelor host who was reportedly removed by ABC over racially insensitive comments. Kelly directly compared Harrison's removal with ABC's continued support of Kimmel, despite his well-known blackface history. The message was clear. She was exposing what she believed was unfair treatment and selective outrage within the network.
Just this past 2 weeks, they had the Kennedy Center honors the other night where Joe Biden couldn't say Dionne Warwick. He kept calling her Diane, and he didn't know who Barry Gibb was. He kept calling him Billy. You know who else was honored at the Kennedy Center? You know who else? Billy Crystal. Just FYI, do you know who once opened up the Academy Awards in full blackface?
Oh,
Billy Crystal. Billy Crystal. And do you know who's going to be hosting the Academy Awards this year? Jimmy Kimmel. Do you know who's worn blackface repeatedly and spoken inner city sort of urban accent saying she needs to darn those socks? Jimmy Kimmel as Oprah, as a fat-suited, black-faced darning socks.
Kelly also highlighted Kimmel's strong and often harsh criticism of political figures like Donald Trump. She compared this with what she described as his quieter or much softer responses to mistakes made by those on his preferred political side, including President Biden's occasional slip-ups in speech. According to Kelly, this showed Kimmel as a devoted leftist, quick to attack those he disagreed with, but just as quick to defend those he supported. The story then took another unexpected turn on the always heated platform of Twitter. Tech. Billionaire Elon Musk had made a bold joke about his pronouns, linking them to prosecute Fauci. This sparked controversy and created the perfect moment for Kimmel to jump into the debate.
Then,
Did he really?
Yes. And so then I read that, and there was people saying, please don't joke about pronouns. It's transphobic to joke about pronouns. So they were chiding him for participating in a joke about pronouns.
So Jimmy Kimmel was doing it. He was doing it too.
Yeah, he was doing it too.
Yeah. No, he was being accused of joking about it too.
So they were upset at him, even though he was attacking the appropriate person. He was doing it in a manner which is also construed as being transphobic. Like they were saying that his tweet is transphobic.
Do you think in that case, do you think that's him or a writer? Can't you tell?
Jimmy Kimmel? No.
Jimmy Kimmel fired back at Musk with a tweet saying, "Your pronouns are asshole." While some of Kimmel's supporters praised the sharp response, the joke quickly turned into a problem, attracting criticism from unexpected people. Critics, including some who usually agreed with Kimmel's politics, pointed out that joking about pronouns, even as an insult, could be seen as transphobic, or at least very insensitive. Suddenly, Kimmel, who often supports progressive causes, was being accused of the very behavior he often speaks against.
Road to obscurity. Nobody's going to care anymore. It's like you're seeing it take place with late night television. Nobody gives a fuck about it anymore.
I know.
And it's slowly, you have a bad business model and you're not adapting.
Yeah, the creativity's gone for late night comedy, right? Like that's not really a thing anymore.
This multi-layered attack, from Rogan's blunt revelations to Kelly's sharp critiques and even Kimmel's own mistake in the pronoun feud, created a perfect storm of damage to his public image. It wasn't just one critic, but a coordinated, though perhaps unintended, attack from different sides. The digital world exploded, with social media turning into a battleground of debate filled with memes, detailed analysis, and passionate arguments breaking down every part of the criticisms. Kimmel's name trended worldwide, but for reasons no public figure would want.
You got the Sunday morning show with Stephanopoulos into the evening Academy Awards broadcast with Kimmel, and ABC elevating, the blackface loving Kimmel. They, at the same time, fired Chris Harrison, host of The Bachelor, for trying to defend one contestant on The Bachelorette for saying, gee, I know I went to this antebellum party, a couple years ago. I guess I didn't see anything wrong with it. And all he said was, are we judging her by today's standards, or are we judging her by, old standards, whatever. He was basically trying to say, are we being too hard on her? Got fired. Chris Harrison has to be fired by ABC. I don't know why, because he's not a committed leftist, because he's not out there more saying all the terrible things about Republicans that Jimmy Kimmel says. So this is them saying, we get it. We're an ally, right? And I guess maybe they're trying to make up with their racist past without ever acknowledging. You all know what they saw. They saw what we saw. They saw the frail elderly man who needed help getting off the stage. They're just too chicken shit to tell us about it, because they accurately deduce that he could still be the Democratic nominee, and they don't want to ding him up. Maybe you give Barbara a pass. Who gives a damn what this singer saw or says? But you know what? Jimmy Kimmel happens to be employed by ABC, which happens to have a rather large news organization. And he has been one of President Trump's most vocal critics. Where are you, Jimmy? On vacation? Not good enough. You can still use your thumbs to send out a tweet. You could set the record straight right now, but you won't.